Hi!
Hi, we're back.
It's us again.
Who?
Us.
Who?
Jamie.
Christine. We're books and booze, reading books, drinking
Cocktails.
and we are reading A Court of Mist and Fury, and we are chugging along, and we are doing chapters 16 to 18.
We sure are. And super excited for the casting call today.
Oh, okay. Look, I feel like that intro was like not as exciting as actually I feel inside my body, which is...
As we walked down to do this, just saying how excited we were.
Right. And now I'm this is a really exciting one because we meet a lot of people.
Yes.
That we got little, is it called? It's not called foreshadowing. We heard about them and we heard the voices, but we're going to meet them now and we're going to be able to... We have 3 people to cast.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And it'll be exciting.
So, I mean, people have opinions about these ones. So,
They're, big.
You have big opinions? I have big opinions.
Yeah, well, we'll get to it.
Yes. Oh, before we even get to what we need to get to, if you are listening and you like what we're doing, it would be so helpful if you went on whatever platform you're listening on and gave us a good rating or
5 stars,
followed us,
preferably.
or yeah, that's so helpful.
Follow along, get some little extra of us, and if you're on Instagram, you can see our cocktails there. Christine makes some great reels.
Yes,
because I don't do that and I don't know how. But I do take the pictures of the cocktails, so that's my main job.
And
here.
They're beautiful.
I'm getting real into it.
Yeah, and I laugh at my reels, which is all that matters.
That is all that matters. They're good.
So let's talk about
audio
books. Yes, listening to audiobooks. Now, I am a listener of audiobooks. I've mentioned before that I listen to the graphic audiobook of these books. So A Court of Thorn and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, those are ones that I listen to, and I was weird about them at first because the voices and the music, and you always have this version in your head.
Yes, when you're reading it, it's a different experience.
So you have to get used to it. And so I did push through, and now it doesn't even faze me. Like if I let's say like don't have time to read the book as we're prepping for this and stuff, I'll put on the graphic audio and I'll listen to it. And one of the things I've noticed about listening to, I mean, whether it's a graphic audio or audiobook, is sometimes it triggers something in me, or it changes. I look at something from a different perspective.
Like how you saw that scene type of thing. Yeah. That makes sense. I just listened to it today for my first time. And it was definitely a different experience and I didn't listen to the dramatized one. I tried, but it was just a lot, and then I couldn't figure out where I was, so I just went to normal audio. To be fair, I do listen to audiobooks, but it's normally non-fiction when I'm editing. But this is my first, for the ACOTAR series, listening to it. And What
did you think of the graphic one, though?
I honestly probably listened to 20 seconds.
Oh.
And I was just like, oh, this is a lot. It says cinematic, so it makes sense. So I do have to give it another try. I was just rushing because I was going to work, and I was like, oh, I'll listen to kind of refresh, because I read these chapters at the beginning of the week and I couldn't find where I was supposed to start. So I was just went to the old one. But even listening to that all day as I did things today, it does really change how you do kind of look at certain parts where you wouldn't have normally notice certain things, I guess. Yeah, so it is interesting. It's a different take on it, but I don't know if I would want to listen to the dramatized one as a first read of a novel.
No, I did. So that was my second read of the series. I read all of the books, and then as time passed and I wanted to revisit them, I listened to the graphic audio version, and that was my second read of all the books. I didn't actually go to the physical books, because I did it within the same year. So it was I don't need to revisit because I still remember most of it.
Yeah.
So it was nice to listen to it and still feel like it was really exciting, and like the graphic version is like it's sort of like a play, or like listening to a movie, right? So I could listen to all of it while doing things, and like I didn't have to pay too much attention because I already knew the details. So,
which, side note, confession, which I think I did confess to you before. So I think I was just really ahead of the game as a child, and I was obsessed with the Scream movie, and obviously I couldn't keep renting it from the movie store, so I recorded it so I could just listen to it. And I was like, I was such a weird child to do that. But now I'm like, no, it's just like an audiobook.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I bet there's many people out there that used to do that.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You figured out what the public wanted, what a need was.
Yeah. Then I didn't do anything with it, and I really lost out on a lot of money.
You could have been the originator of the
audiobook.
Right. Oh, you missed out.
I did.
Ugh.
But, if anyone ever wants to listen to Scream on a cassette tape, I have it somewhere.
Do you actually still have it?
I probably do.
Oh my god, because you keep everything.
I do. I'm getting better at it. Getting rid of stuff.
Why not? You never know. You never know.
That's true. Might need that one day.
That is always the saying of a hoarder.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. Might need it in an emergency. I don't know.
Tell us about your drink.
Okay, so my drink, I based it around, which we pretty much go into right away, is this dinner that they're having. And wine is mentioned quite a bit.
They're winos.
Yeah, they're drinking lots of wine.
The inner circle is winos. Yeah, for sure.
Probably just throughout the dinner mentioned 10 times, like how good the wine is, taking a drink of wine, drinking wine, like, yes, everything. So I wanted to do a wine cocktail. So it is 3 ounces of dry white wine, 1.5 ounces of ginger syrup, which I made last night because you have to let it sit in the fridge overnight.
Look at you.
Yeah, with fresh ginger.
Who do you think you are?
I don't know. I did realize I needed 2 cups of sugar, and because we've been using sugar for making simple syrup, I ran out of sugar, so I had to go to our parents' house with my empty canister. I need sugar, please.
Well, naturally, why would you go to the grocery store?
It was nighttime. I just didn't feel like going out in public at that point. And our parents live very close to me. And it was free.
It is free.
Yeah. So I was like, can you just put some sugar in this canister? So, you know how they always used to say, like, borrow sugar from your neighbor? I kind of did it. So anyways, made fresh ginger syrup. And there is Dolin Blanc vermouth.
Oh.
Lemon juice, club soda, and orange bitters. Super curious what it's going to taste like. I have 3 names.
Okay.
So I need your opinion.
Okay.
First one is Yay Friendship. Okay.
Okay.
My next one is Wine, Wine, Wine. Because that one part more says, all they do is talk, 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 and I want to eat, eat, eat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a deep cut, though.
Yeah, that was my original choice. Third one is spewed wine, because something happens and then Cassian spews his wine, like spits it out because he's laughing.
Right. What was the first one?
Yay, friendship.
Okay, well, this makes me rethink my last drink then, because I was just like, oh, I didn't realize. You're being much more creative with it than I was.
Well, because it went in a different direction, because we are in the House of Wind.
I thought this drink was just going to be called the House of Wind.
Yeah, well, then I was like, it's not really like wind, it's just... So those are my choices.
Okay.
If you have a preference.
I feel like let's not do speed wine, because that sounds gross.
I know.
Wine, wine, wine. I don't know if it captures the full drink, because then it just makes me think that we're just having wine. It's more than wine.
That's very true. We could do talk, eat, wine. No, that's still...
I mean, I feel like the first one is the best, though it doesn't
say exactly what it is, but it also encapsulates what's kind of happening.
Yay, friendship. No. Another option is Court of Dreams. Okay, if I'm going to pick out of those 3, I'm picking Yay, friendship.
Okay. We could also just call it the House of Wind, but I like Yay, friendship.
How about it's called Yay, friendship, aka House of Wind.
Okay, I'm good with that.
All right, I like it.
Well, let's actually taste it.
Yes. Cheers.
The second sip was better.
Why was the first one bad?
I just didn't know how to feel about the first sip. Okay, I do like it.
I don't even know how to distinguish the flavors. Like, I'm trying to describe it and I can't. So my best description is it's good.
Right? I feel like I can taste like a little bit of the ginger.
Yes. But that is hard to do. Too much ginger is yuck for me.
Yeah.
So this is... Yeah,
it's refreshing.
It is. Well, look, anything with lemon, you got me.
Yeah. There wasn't even that much lemon in it, though.
No?
No.
There's just a hint, but it's...
It was, I feel like, a really good kind of mixture of, like, just enough of each thing.
I'm gonna give it... Oh my god, this is hard. This is a hard one. I might have to... Look, I'm gonna give it a rating now, but it might change, is what I'll say.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it an 8.9.
I was going to give it an 8.7.
Okay.
So we started our ratings high this time, and now it's like,
well, they keep being good.
I know it's so weird.
Look, now the opposite is going to happen. We're going to get to the end of this book, and I'm going to be like, I need to to create room within these ratings, because now I'm at a point system. Like, there was one that I rated 8.8, and now I'm at 8.9. I think I've rated another one 9. So there's no room here. I got to adjust. Oh, but
right?
It's good.
I know. I do really like it.
It's really good.
I mean, and we both like wine, so that also helps.
It doesn't taste like wine, though. It's different. Mm-hmm. Not in a weird way. Just...
Yeah. Well, if you go on our Instagram, you'll see a beautiful photo of it.
Oh, the other thing I was going to mention, I like how you always give the amounts. Like, you're always really specific with your drink, and then I just go, yeah, it's mine is red wine and
some other stuff.
Yeah. Figure it out. You know what? Do your own measurements. Just, like, have fun with it. You got it, girl. Yeah. You got it. I believe in you.
5 cups of wine in.
You do what you want. Yeah. You don't let anyone else tell you.
You want to put 3 shots of tequila in that? You do it.
Yeah. You know what? Do your own additives.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that's exciting.
All right, success.
Woo!
Let's get to these chapters.
Yes.
We are getting into chapter 16. Feyre and Rhys arrive at the House of Wind, and 2 winged males approach them. We're gonna meet them.
Yay.
We're gonna meet them.
They are Cassian and
Asriel.
She describes them as dark-haired and tanned skin males.
And Cassian says, "Come on, Feyre, we don't bite unless you ask us to."
Stole my heart right there with that line.
And Rhys says, "The last I heard, Cassian, no one has ever taken you up on that offer." Now, Cassian could be perceived as a creepy creep. I did not interpret him this way.
I just was like, you're a friendly, fun guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in real life, don't say this. Because I will...
I feel like if you say it correctly and you're not a creepy person and it comes off funny, you can do it, but that's really rare.
Oh, it's...
So don't actually try.
And there's... If you're a man who's thinking about approaching... Like, there's not a specific criteria. It's like, it's vibes.
Yes.
Right? It's like you have to get the vibe that you are not a creep.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't know if you're a creep. So it is really risky.
Yeah. Like if you're just like a humor type person who want to like lighten the mood.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that's him. But you could also be a creep. So, just stay safe. Don't try it.
Stay safe. So Cassian has shoulder length hair. Does he though?
He does.
Okay, so he winks. So one thing I want to ask you is, are you okay? Are you okay with the wink?
I feel like we have had many conversations about this in real life over the years.
And people need to know.
I hate winking. It's creepy and weird. If Cassian did it, I would be okay with it. That's literally the only person, and he is not real, except in my mind. I hate when people do it. I just don't. It's weird. It creeps me out. We've had experience with males that do it. Yeah. Even when it was like not in like a picking up type of situation.
There was not a... When did that happen?
I remember seeing a friend at the gym one time, and like we were kind of both like doing separate things in the middle. And he's like, "Hey, good to see you," and like winks. And I'm just like, why did you do that? It's weird. It. Yeah. And we don't have that kind of a relationship.
What does the relationship need to be?
Like, we're not close enough where you can do that where it's funny.
Oh, so it needs to be funny. I think that was my thinking.
Yeah, like it needs to be funny where we weren't close enough for you to do that, but we we don't have like a flirt, like we're just friends. Yeah, so it was just, I'm like, why are you doing that?
Don't do it.
And then in other situations where we've talked about where it was like someone trying to pick you up and they're winking at you.
It was someone across the bar, and our eyes met, and then he winked, and I'm like, oh. And then we made jokes about it for years.
Yeah.
Anyway, Cassian can do it.
Yeah, only one who can do it and get away with it.
But I'll say, in the previous chapters, Rhys did it to Feyre.
Oh.
He winked at her, but he was being jokey with her at the time.
Okay, yes. So if you are being jokey, be safe about your choices.
But anyway, Asriel is not a winker.
No, he's but more the classically beautiful out of the two, which I do like that description for him.
He has burn scars on his hands, which we don't learn about right now. But one thing I did write down is Feyre thought he'd be the one to look out for the knife in the dark. So he's sneaky.
Yeah. Her senses are good.
They really are.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, you seem to, there's something going on with you. We learned that Asriel, I feel like I keep saying it wrong. Like, you don't.
Asriel.
I know. But I'm feeling like self-conscious about it because it's just like in my head when reading, you have the way that you read it, and then I'm just like,
but then
Asriel. He is Rhysand's spy master. So then Feyre's thoughts are confirmed, right?
Yes.
That like he's the he's probably good at his job. And then Cassian leads the armies.
Pretty much anything Cassian says I really enjoy. But Feyre's kind of wondering, were they under the mountain? Do they recognize me? Type of thing. Because they weren't like looking, do they even know what I did? And Cassian says, how the hell did you make that bone ladder in the Midgard worm lair when you look like your own bones can snap at any moment? just what a first couple lines when meeting a person. So I just wanted to shout him out for that.
Well, Feyre's in a joking mood, so it's fine.
Yeah, and she does come back to him and say, how have you lasted this long without someone killing you or something?
What?
Yeah.
How does that make sense?
Just because how he's saying it. So yeah, he says that to her, and then she says, how the hell did you manage to survive this long without anyone killing you?
Oh.
But I feel like it's a very joking, sarcastic back and forth, which we've seen with like Rhys.
Yes, but she hasn't been in that state, so it's like very surprising.
Yes, which is yay. So then more comes out, meet and greet time.
Amren is not a ray of sunshine, so I don't know why I'm saying it like that. Though I really like Amren too, because she is... I think it's really neat to see how Amren, being very stoic and hard and a little bit scary, that she fits in with someone like Mor and fits in with the boys, and how she, that they all like each other, but they all are so very different.
Yeah, just the dynamic of the whole group.
So Amren is described as having short chin, like black hair, tan skin, silver eyes, which we already know a little bit, like Rhys has already said, like she is different and she is very old. And she says to Feyre, we are alike. Two people born something else and now trapped in new, strange bodies. She's like, what?
Yeah, what? Where are you? What's happening here?
We learn that Amren also doesn't eat food.
Fun fact about her. We don't know what she eats yet.
That would be so horrible.
It's not food, right? To just sit in front of all those good meals and just not eat it?
Yeah. Although if you don't crave food and need food,
it probably just looks like dirt.
You're indifferent.
Yeah. That's fair.
Feyre, I think she says Lord Cassian or something.
That's when he spews his wine.
Okay.
Because she says, oh, blah, 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 Lord Cassian. And then it says Cassian spewed his wine across the table or something.
And everyone thinks it's hilarious.
Yes.
Rhys goes on to explain that, no, they're not. They're not lords. They are far from royalty or any sense of it. Cassian leads the armies. Asriel, I think he goes on to say like Mor is the only person who has like an actual like title to royalty, because Rhys is a half half Illyrian, so technically, like, for a lot of people, he's not considered, like, true royalty. And also we learned that none of them were under the mountain.
I do also just like that Rhys calls it a family dinner. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
It just makes me happy.
They go way back. This isn't just like, I'm pulling together people to help me rule this land. It's more than that. So this part I titled The Boys.
Background stories.
Because we learn how they met.
Yeah. Oh, it's a longer story. It's a beautiful story. I love it.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. But I think it's also kind of important because it was how, like, it brought them together at the same time.
Yes.
And we do come back to a lot of that past later on.
So Cass and Azrael are both, they call themselves bastards, so and they say that Illyrians hate bastards. So they were ostracized or thought of as less than anyway.
So we find out that Azrael was a shadow singer. Once they figured it out pretty young. Yeah. And it's super rare. They're coveted by courts. Their stealth, predisposition to hear and feel things others can't.
Oh, and then Rhys gets into the story of his mom. And how she was one of those females fated to have her wings clipped. And she tried to prevent herself from having her period and bleeding. Which is crazy. She did all these things to delay it. Like
illegal herbs. Yeah. Didn't eat.
Yeah. Until she was 18, and then finally her body did it, and she was gonna have her wings clipped, and then the High Lord of the Night Court showed up
for just a meeting.
Yeah, and saved her, because when he showed up and saw, and they looked at each other, the mating bond snapped into place. Yeah. And so she was saved. But that's why Rhys's mom went on to, later be able to still fly with Rhys, but all the female Illyrians don't get that.
Yeah, it's sad.
And, over the years, Rhys mentions his mom tried to convince his dad to get the other, to stop that practice, and he wouldn't. No. And just how he was really tarnished their relationships. And he says, like, they weren't, even though they're mates, they weren't meant for each other. Yeah. Like, they're very, very different.
His father, very cold, vicious. His mother was soft and beloved. And she eventually also came to hate him. So.
Which that maybe is like a little nugget. No, I don't believe in soulmates, but maybe that is a good perspective for people. Maybe it's not a good perspective, but it makes me think, like, if you are mates with someone, that is something so special and a special bond, but that doesn't mean that the things that you do day to day in your behavior can't tarnish that connection. Yes. That is so strong. Yeah. Like, no matter how strong your connection is and your bond is, that can still be wrecked with. Yes. Maybe that's the lesson. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Then we find out that when Rhys turned 8, because obviously he is half Illyrian, his mother took him to the camp to train.
Yeah, and Farrah's like, she abandoned you. And they're basically like, no, that's how it was. And that was like, you leave your son to go fight. And you can't, like, stand there as, like, a soccer mom and be like, yay, you're doing a good... No, and you need to go and you need to let them do it. I don't agree with this. But that was, like, the practice.
Moore, I believe, also says at this point that I think she kind of was also doing it to get you away from your father.
Right. She wanted you to connect to the Illyrian roots, at least like the good parts of it, but also she didn't want to have his influence. Yeah. So the first day that Rhys went into the sparring ring, Cassian beat him up. And I kind of love this story.
Yeah. He said he came in really clean, I believe. That's why he didn't like him or something.
Yes. And if you won, you got to take their clothes. So Cassian was also like fighting for that.
Those clean clothes.
So, I mean, a horrible start, but I still think it's a cute story. Yeah. But Cassian had nothing because he was a bastard. He had to find his own shelter, his own food. So he lived in this like crappy tent on the land.
While they're like in the mountains.
Yeah. While Rhys went and lived in, a house with his mom on the property.
Yeah, just a little cabin.
Yeah. And so one day he saw Cassian walking past and he saved him.
Yeah. Said, come stay with us. They still hated each other, but they lived together.
Then they hated each other, then Az came a year later, and then they actually bonded during that time, and then they become a little threesome.
Yeah. And Cassian says, we reached the age of maturity and all we wanted to do was fuck and fight. Classic Cassian.
And then Amren says, males are horrible creatures, aren't they?
More repulsive.
And Feyre thinks, some surviving small part of my heart wanted to laugh at that. She's feeling it. She's like, you guys are funny.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little something. That's how funny you are.
So Feyre asks about power, I think, and Cassian clarifies, like, yeah, I don't have any, like, fancy powers like Azriel and Rhys do, but whatever. They are the first bastards born to have siphons, though.
So he's still very powerful.
So usually it's like purebred Illyrians that get to have those things. So their power, so all three of them were like the most powerful little guys in that camp, and the other purebred Illyrians or like more traditional Illyrians like really did not like that.
I do also want to point out when they were kind of telling the story, I think with like Cassian, Feyre kind of looks and she really resonates with him. And he kind of looks at her at the point where he's telling the story. She says she kind of like read through his look that like, you know what it's like, you know the mark that it leaves. Love that she kind of had that thought as he was telling the story. So like she's connecting
like
with
the
them.
Poverty part?
Yeah. Like when he was talking about his childhood and what it was like. And so obviously he knows a bit about her, but really like kind of looked at her to be like, I know you get this.
I mean, what a respectful thing to do. He's like, okay, I know something about you, but I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let you tell your story.
Yeah. Love it.
But I'm also not going to pretend that I don't know. So eventually, Rhys's father visited the camp, and he saw that Rhys's power was... he feels a little bit threatened. And that his two closest friends were the two deadliest Illyrians in history. So he was really worried, and so he decided to separate them. So Rhys got to head the Illyrians in terms of like their command or their army or whatever you want to call it. Well, Cass was just made a regular foot soldier, and then Az was Rhys's dad's personal shadow singer.
Yeah.
So they rarely saw each other over the years, and the war happened, and they all just like were super worried about each other. And they bring themselves to the end of the war, and Rhys doesn't want to talk about what happened at the end of the war to him, so he just like cut things off.
Yeah. He said something about he was captured and just it's a story for another time.
Yes. And so Rhys carries on. Okay, I became the king. Or I guess I don't call it the king. I became the High Lord, and I made all of my friends, you know, as I would too, I think.
Right? Why not?
Although that's really frowned upon in just a general sense. If you think of like government or like I mean, let's be transparent. People do this.
People do it.
But you shouldn't do it. But in this story, I really love it.
I think, in the Fae world where people are trying to kill you and with like the bloodline, it's it's not a totally different thing, but you know what? I don't care. I'm going to agree with what they're doing. I love it. I would want to do that too.
Ignore the real world.
Yep. We're not in the real world.
I love it. So he appointed Kaz and Az and Amren and Mor in their circle, and that was that. And so people who were aligned with his dad and didn't agree with any of this, he basically gave them a choice. Like, if you have a problem with it, then you can leave, and then that's what happened. So people either tolerated him or they left, or there are people that go to the Hewn City.
Yeah. So that is
the place
the OG under the mountain.
Exactly. So where Feyre was originally staying, and the people that live under there, they just go on with the what people understand is the Night Court and do your thing. So Mor says that she was born in the Court of Nightmares and that she got out of it, and that
she was a dreamer born into the Court of Nightmares.
But then I think it's Cassian that asks, like, what's your story? And so Feyre says, you know, where she comes from. Cassian says, you know, I'll teach you how to fight. And so this was the part. So when Rhys had been saying, like, my mom had nurtured these different parts of me, right? Like, teaching me how to be intellectually well, like, physically, like, there was all these
different things.
Yeah, to make me equipped. So Feyre thinks of that. And then she also says, I would not be weak again. I would not be dependent on anyone else. I would never have to endure the touch of the Ator as it dragged me because I was too helpless to know where and how to hit. Never again. She thinks about Ianth and Tamlin, and she asks, you don't think it sends a message if people see me learning to fight using weapons? She thought the moment the words were out, I realized the stupidity of them. The stupidity of what had been shoved down my throat these past few months. And so more.
Yes, more.
Bless you. More. She says, let me tell you 2 things. As someone who has perhaps been in your shoes before, 1, you have left the spring court. If that does not send a message, for good or bad, then your training will not either. 2, I once lived in a place where the opinion of others mattered. It suffocated me, nearly broke me. So you'll understand me, Feyre, when I say that I know what you feel and I know what they tried to do to you. And that with enough courage, you can say to hell with a reputation. You do what you love, what you need.
Slow clap for more. That's right.
Oh.
New BFF. Like, you thought Ianthe was a friend? No.
Right. And that really sheds a light on that friendship, quote unquote.
Yeah, clearly not a friendship.
Yeah.
I really...
But
and you know what? She's never really had a female friend either. You think about it.
True.
She grew up with her sisters. So Ianthe comes along and you're like, oh, okay. That's, But I think now with more, we're going to...
Well, it's like you're having someone who believes in you. Like, believes you're more than just whatever everyone else tells you.
What a friend should be.
Yeah. So, I mean, Moore did a good job because Feyre is like, okay, I'll work with you.
Yeah. You convinced me. So he says that the King of Hybern is about to launch a war, and he wants to resurrect Jurian to do it. What? The eyeball?
They don't know how that's going to work, but, like, that's the theory?
Yes.
So the killings at the temples that we heard a few chapters or episodes ago, that they think is connected as well. That the king raided the temple in Sangrava, and he's looking for something, and we don't know what that something is yet.
No.
And we don't know why he wants to resurrect Jurian.
No. So we don't know much.
But Amren, the knowledge that is Amren, says we need to go and talk to the Bone Carver.
Bone Carver? What a name.
Who is that?
Yeah. But she says that so it's at the prison, and the only person that he might talk to is Feyre, because she is an immortal with a human soul. But
She's the interesting one.
Yeah, but Rhys again says it's her choice. She has a choice, which she always should.
So chapter 17, Feyre and Rhys are flying and talking.
Just casual flying chat.
You know, we haven't talked about this. What would that be like?
Terrifying. I'm terrified of heights.
Someone just scoops you up and then they fly into the air.
No, thank you.
That would be a watery bowel situation.
Right? I'm surprised that was not mentioned.
I'm not sure why Sarah hasn't brought that up again.
Right? Oh, yeah. If you don't like... No. Maybe if after the dinner, once I had a lot of that wine... Okay. No, still not.
You want a bunch of wine and food and then go flying?
Like, no, that's also... As I was saying it, it's a bad idea.
But Feyre felt him during the dinner, so she just asked more questions about the bond. He says that the bond is a living thing, and it's shaped by what you needed at the time.
And what you needed is to not be alone.
Right, so the bond we call it a bond, but it was the agreement that they made that created that tattoo and the eye on her hand. But yeah, that she needed to not be alone. And Feyre recognizes, I guess for the first time, because she's been like really like sad and critical and stuff, but this is the first time where she's like, okay, you let Amarantha think that you liked ruling over the Court of Nightmares, but that was a front. Yes. And he says, I love my people and my family. Do not think I wouldn't become a monster to keep them protected.
He also says another thing, and it's sad. Feyre, I had very little to use against Amarantha, so I decided that to keep her from asking questions about the people who mattered, I would be her whore. And then I think he says that next line, but I'm just like, no, Rhys.
That's the most.
Love you. I'm doing a little heart with my hands.
He just basically explains to her how he sheltered Valaris again and all the magic that he used to do so.
Yeah.
And Feyre thinks, it's such a shame that that in Prithian that people don't know what you did to protect your people.
Like all the things you did, all the things you gave up.
Yeah, and then why you were by Amaranth's side. And he says it doesn't matter as long as those who you care for are safe. Oh, this is perfection.
Right? Yeah, that's how we all should think. Right? Like, who cares what other people think, pretty much. As long as, like, those around me know.
That's what matters. I mean, easier said than done. I'm sure it affects him.
Yes, that's also true, but just,
But he also has a whole city. He has Valeris and all the people in it, and his inner circle of people who are like, yeah, you're great.
But it's just, I think it's just really him, like,
very
just being
different
like, these are the people that matter the most.
I care what they think.
Yeah, and that's life lessons from Rhysand.
So Feyre has another nightmare about under the mountain, and Rhys tries to help wake her up, and she has flames coming from her hand. So we see another, I mean, flames came up before a little bit.
Yeah, but they're back.
Yeah, so we see another sort of magical power that she got from one of the High Lords. But as she's being sick, Rhys comforts her and says, like...
I would like to say that I just noted, Tamlin, eye roll.
Tamlin did not comfort her.
Tamlin, how hard would that have been? Okay.
He holds her hair back, and it's very simple, my man.
Yeah, that's all you needed to do. Let her puke, hold her hair back.
Right?
Yep.
Rhys comforts her by saying, yeah, me too, and this is the nightmare that I always have.
Which the nightmare sounds also awful.
Adorable.
Adorable? The nightmare sounds adorable?
The comforting.
Oh.
And then the next day, they go to the prison. And Feyre...
Oh, we do find out the flame powers are from the Autumn Court. I just like finding out where they're from.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
They go to the prison. It's inside a mountain.
So many mountains.
There's a lot of mountains over here. The prison has been there before even the High Lords have been there. So that's how old this place is. That's how old the people that are trapped in there are. But it's the most, like, dangerous type of creatures you could ever imagine. And Amren was a prisoner there.
Surprise!
Which is really strange that she's now just walking around, but makes us question things, right?
Third or second to the High Lord?
Right. But Feyre, can't handle it, basically, and just needs to go home.
Has obviously a reaction to it. Okay, so chapter 18. Feyre awakes.
Amren is a cutie patootie, but also a scary patootie.
Yeah. But silver eyes.
From what the descriptions we've had of her for her to, like, come in Feyre's bedroom, which I guess isn't, like, intrusive. But also she comes to give her this necklace or, like, this amulet saying, like, I'm gonna give you this to help you. If you're holding this thing, it'll help you get out of the prison. So, like, you don't have to worry. So,
you're not going to be stuck under there.
Yeah.
If you wear it, they can never keep you. And she does say she does not give it lightly.
Yeah, she does this nice thing for her. Mm-hmm. So she's not as cold-hearted as maybe her first impression makes us think.
She does want it back, but...
So they do go back to the prison. So Feyre gets up the courage to go back. Okay, let's try this again. Mm-hmm. And on the walk towards the prison, because they're like winnow there, but then they have to walk up this mountain and get to the entrance. Yeah. So Rhys tells her all this stuff on the walk.
I also like to point out that Rhys has a weapon this time around. We have not seen him with a weapon.
Yeah, and Feyre does point that out. Like, she saw him with, like, the sword or, like, the knife that she had under the mountain. So, like, it's weird to see him as, like, this warrior type of person with a sword. And he's like, yeah, Cassian would think that was really funny. That you think it's weird that I'm holding a sword. Yeah. And so Feyre asks, could Cassian beat you? And he basically says yes. Yes. It would be tough for him, but yes. He is the ultimate warrior. He is the best warrior in history. It's why he leads the armies. Mm-hmm. And she does say, like, he has no arrogance, like, no pride about it. Yeah. Which is different.
Should I add that to my dating profile?
Don't be offended or not offended when other men can beat you up. Yep. Yeah, I think, yes. Okay. Yeah, that'll definitely get a lot of hits, I think.
I'm just going to have such a mixed bag of stuff on there.
Yeah, just humble. we get to know why Azrael has scars. Azrael's dad had 2
legitimate sons.
And I guess the mother was just as cruel. And Azrael lived with them for 11 years, but he was kept in a cell with no window or light. I don't know how Azrael's alive.
No.
I don't know how he's...
a functioning person.
No. I have literally no idea. That makes 0 sense to me.
Yeah.
He was let out for an hour each day to see his mother, because his mother was different from that, I don't know what to call him.
Well, his father had an affair.
That lord's wife, or I guess it was not a lord, but like a, yeah. And then when he was 8, his brothers tortured him. Yeah. They basically lit him on fire.
It's a fun game to play.
And Fair asked if they were punished, and Reese says eventually.
That's right, they were.
We're gonna assume one of them did something.
Dating profile. You will kill for me?
You know what? Do it, because I would like to. This is experimental. Let's just catfish a lot of people. Let's just try out different profiles.
We'll add on to the podcast by just having that as a separate one.
Oh, and then we switch gears, and you should want to know, what does Moore do?
This is fun.
Because I don't want to talk about that sad story anymore.
Let's move on.
That she's the court overseer, so she looks over the court of nightmares and the court of dreams, runs Valaris, Sehun City.
She's a busy girl.
And then Amryn is the second, so she is the political advisor. She is a walking library, and she does the dirty work. Which all of that fits. Like when I learned that, I was like, oh yeah, I know that fits within all of the personalities that we've learned so far. That does. Makes total sense. So once again at the prison, she learns a lot of stuff. But basically, like, there's not typical
it's not a typical
guards.
Prison.
There's not typical guards.
Kind of has its own laws.
Yes.
Yeah.
How long did Amryn stay there? Well, he doesn't know. I think he thinks it would be rude to ask, but that she was there before even courts were formed.
And it's crazy, right? And then she does ask where Amryn came from. It says that there are stories that when the world was born, there were rips in the fabric of the realms. That's just wild that she's been around that long.
And so before they go into the Bone Carver, we learn that we never really know what the Bone Carver looks like because he appears different to everyone.
Yes, Christine tried to include him on the casting call.
I did. And then I very slowly realized that's impossible.
Because he appears different to everybody.
Yes. So to Feyre, the Bone Carver looks as this little boy with dark hair, blue eyes, and Reese gives the Bone Carver a bone, which, how did he keep this bone for so long?
Okay, I would just also mention that they were still holding hands this entire time walking in.
Oh, yeah.
And I just love that.
Well, she's scared.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to hold your hand. And he gives her water, doesn't let go of her hand. That's how you be supportive. The
calf bone that she made for the kill with the worm.
Okay.
He kept that bone.
Right? I know. I was like, the fact that he even thought to get that bone keep it?
Maybe I'll visit a bone carver in the future.
I mean, yeah, probably. That's probably what he was thinking. I should keep this just in case. But that he went and got that exact one. He really thinks ahead. It shows really how intelligent he is.
More than me.
That he's thinking like 20 steps ahead of everyone else.
But he had told her before, like, don't lie to the bone carver.
Yeah.
And that every question that he asks, that you should ask one. So it's a question for a question.
And there's a lot of questions that happen.
So his first question is where she went when she died. Which, you know what?
That's a great question.
It is a great question. Yeah. I would want to know that too.
She does say that she heard the crack of her spine, but was gone before she could feel more than that. That it was dark, but she saw a tether, a thread, and yanked. And then suddenly she could see.
And then when she was finally made, she followed the thread back. He's kind of like disappointed by that answer.
Yeah.
But she asked him if it was nothing but a bit of bone, or could that person be resurrected? And I guess that's when they get into talking about the cauldron. Right? If there's any type of magic that's going to be able to do this stuff, it's the cauldron. Which, the cauldron details. Oh Lord.
Also, we kind of find out where, like, bless the cauldron and that comes from. Mm-hmm. So long before the High Fae, there was the cauldron. It was all all the magic that was contained into this. The world was born in it, but it did fall into the wrong hands. It was used to do terrible things, but was stolen back. Since the cauldron could not be destroyed, that it was hidden, and that's what could bring someone back to life. So that's what someone would need if they wanted to bring Jurian back to life.
So where is it? Learn that it was somewhere, but it vanished a long time ago. But we learn that
there's 3 feet of the cauldron, but they were cut off and hidden in 3 different temples.
Right, to try and take away some of that power. And so the temples, like if we think of like the temples that were raided, so like the most recent one, Sangrava, I mean, we could put together that the King of Hybern is looking for those things. The final question he asks is, hey, Farah, I want your bones before you die. She's like, no.
I'm good.
But she does give him a tidbit that brings him back in and entices him. Mm-hmm. And she says that I chose to cling to life a little longer. But she decided that there was a world that she could come back to, do something with her life, basically.
Yeah. So then the bone carver does confirm that the King of Hybern has a cauldron.
And Feyre gives him more information because to give him information to him, it's a back and forth.
It's probably pretty therapeutic for her as well.
Kind of. Yeah. Like forced confessions. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good game.
Yeah, making her talk about things.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I hate my job. But Feyre says those 2 fairies, and then if the 3rd fairy was not Tamlin, she had intended to turn the knife on herself. She realized that maybe there was something else for her in this world. Like maybe there was something else. Killed her. Yeah, that there was something else for her to do, and that was one of the reasons that she decided to come back from death.
Yeah, like, whoa.
Yeah.
You thought the other revelation was deep?
They learned some really good tidbits about the cauldron, and there's so much information in this chapter, but I feel like we're information gathering right now because all of this information is going to be so key to these other parts of the story. Like, we learn that the cauldron could be used to shatter the wall. So the wall that was created after the war, after, the treaty was created between the humans and Prythian, that big wall was created so they couldn't, go over each other's borders. Like, that could be destroyed with the cauldron. They're learning so much.
Yes.
So we learned that there's something called the Book of Breathing. So, when they're asking, like, what do we do? What do we do about this cauldron thing that the King of Hybern has? Okay, well, there's this book, and there's a spell inside that book.
But the book was split in 2 after the war.
Yes. Oh, this isn't just like a random book, right? So, like, the last molten ore that was, created when the cauldron was created. This book was also created at the same time. Can I just say this is nonsense? Can I just say it?
You can. It's,
I'm going with it because I'm always going to go with the story.
Yeah.
And I'm going to believe it. I'm going to immerse myself. But this is... Okay, Sarah, I'm with you. I'm with you on the journey.
We're doing it.
I'm with you on the journey. Okay, there's a book. There is a book. And there's a spell in the book that could make the power go away or whatever. Okay, let's find the book.
Simple.
Oh, but it's not simple, Sarah. Because there is 2 parts to this book. One part is in the Summer Court. One part is with the human queens.
The 6 mortal queens.
Oh, why is there so many?
I know. But, I mean, it's only one piece. I guess they all live together. I guess
there's a lot of... In Prythian, there's a lot of lords, too.
But the book was seen as useless because as only someone made can speak the spells and summon its power. So, who can use it?
I mean, Feyre.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Amren.
I'm saying. But I wanted the answer from you.
But
and Jurian, if he's made. Yeah.
But there was nothing else anyone else could do with it, so they kind of just put it aside. But if you put the books together, the cauldron's power will evaporate.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
So they go to leave, and the bone carver decides to say he will carve Farah's death into the bone he was given. What a nice parting gift.
I thought it was nice.
I did actually, yeah.
I was like, that's very nice of him.
Yeah. So on all, like, the cells, I guess, I want to say, they have, like, a bone, and he's carved everyone's.
Aww.
They mentioned it at one point, yeah. So he's also an artist, which, Farah loves an artist. Another thing that I do love about her, she almost, like, connects with him. a little bit.
Yeah, that's
right?
why I feel good about this part. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Like with the cereal, like she just, like people where they're like, no, you can't catch the cereal. Like
she gets the weirdos.
Yeah, she gets them. And they like kind of just, like they like her.
Yeah.
She's like one of those people that are really good with animals where like all animals love them.
She attracts them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what she's like.
Totally.
Yeah. Oh, so then they leave and they both tell each other what they saw.
Yeah, and Reese said that he saw Jurian as the last time that he saw Jurian. But we
know that Farrah saw a young boy.
Yeah, she doesn't tell him that though.
But I was also thinking just how weird it would be. So through that entire conversation that she's sitting there talking to a child about when I died.
True.
and this, and that it's like a child asking it, right?
Totally.
And then the child saying, I'll carve your death into this bone.
But also then on Reese's end, talking to someone you know, but you know it's not them.
Yeah.
And they've been dead for a long time.
Yeah. And like, why is he seeing Jurian? Like, who do you think he would see? I just got a shiver. Yeah, really creepy.
Who would you see?
I don't know, because then it's like
I don't know what the criteria is.
Well, because he's seeing someone that's technically alive, right? Like Reese.
But not really.
But doesn't have their body, but their soul's still alive. We don't know who Farrah is seeing at all.
I feel like, does this come in the book later where we learn, like, what the motivation for how he shows up as?
Oh, maybe.
I don't remember.
Well, we'll find out. Okay, so that's that.
That's what happens. Lots of information. We have so much information now.
Yay! Are you ready? Casting call. The best casting call
that there ever was.
Dun, dun, dun.
You always gotta add that into it. No.
Okay, so who do we start with?
This is one of the biggest casting calls we've ever had.
It really is.
Because these people are gonna carry on until, we're gonna learn more about them. They're clearly a big part of Reese's life, so they're important.
We all like boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, boy.
Well, my order is Azriel, Cassian, Amren. I think that's a good order.
Okay.
The Shadow Singer, Azriel. Oh.
I don't think I have any idea who you picked for this.
No, we haven't talked about who our Azriel is.
No.
So you don't know. Yeah. Okay. Oh my god, I'm so curious, actually.
I have 3 people down because the third person I saw on TikTok and I was like, oh, that guy's actually pretty good and he's like a younger actor.
Yeah.
So that would be like the choice if I was actually casting, kind of maybe, but I'm not even going to talk about it.
Oh, you know what? Who do you imagine while you're reading the books versus who you're casting? Because those are 2 different castings.
But I think when we started, we did kind of say it was just like who we're imagining. It's not gonna.
And I always think of both, and I feel like we do this in casting hall too. Like we do talk about who have I imagined through the books, and is that the same person that I would cast? Because okay. Go ahead.
So Riz Ahmed, he's in so many good things. I've always had a crush on him. I love him.
Well, I'm not always with the up and up, I guess.
You're not.
Oh, no, I know who he is.
Yeah, I was like, I'm really surprised you don't know who he is.
I first was introduced to him in Girls.
Right, yes, yeah.
I love him.
That's who I think he would be good for. I also had Boo Boo Stewart, but I actually just changed it to him.
Who's Boo Boo Stewart?
Also an actor. What was he in? I think he was actually in Twilight, to be honest. Yeah, he was in Twilight. But he's been in other stuff since then, but that's when I was like originally introduced to him.
Yep. No, I love that one too.
Yeah, so those are kind of my 2 that I've always kind of gone back and forth. I'm not even going to mention my 3rd one.
Why is it bad?
No, it's just been like a recent one where it came up because I saw on TikTok people were like, oh, this young actor would be good. He would be, but it's just not who I
think those are 2 very strong ones.
Right? That's who I would want to cast because I think they would both be great.
I have no criticisms of that.
Yes!
My Azriel pick is really important to me because I guess this comes back to the conversation we just had. This is the person that I've thought from the beginning, and also I would also cast.
Oh, dying.
Because there are those people that, like, just stick with you. Like, you imagine them, and you're just like, there's no other person. So, my Asriel, you've had this conversation before where this person I saw been cast in other roles.
Okay.
Was the conversation we had. Like, so it's Reggae John Paul.
I have him as someone else.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Other people have had him as other people, and I've seen that.
Yeah.
But from the beginning, he is who I have imagined as Asriel in my head as I was reading from the beginning.
But I'm not mad at him as that at all. Like,
he is almost my casting hill I will die on because it's been so, like, stuck in my head.
That's who you, immediately. I'm not mad at that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
All right. Look, that was an easy one, I guess.
No, I love him. I do have him as someone else later on.
Well, I know exactly who you're thinking of him as.
Oh, I think I did tell you.
No, you didn't.
Oh, okay.
But or maybe I'm wrong, but I've just seen other people cast him as a different character. So maybe I'm assuming that you are thinking of the same character.
Okay.
But we'll see. We'll see.
You'll find out. Stick around.
Will he win the Steve Buscemi?
Oh!
I've been trying to workshop what this award is called.
Where we just keep casting someone.
Oh, I was thinking of it today. I almost had one.
Steve Buscemi Multiple Award.
It's gonna...
We'll come back to it. It's fine.
Whatever. We're gonna figure out the name of this award, but it is basically... It's the Steve Buscemi Award workshop name of the person that will be cast in multiple roles.
Yeah.
So he might be in contention.
Yeah. So up next...
Cassian!
My favorite.
He has a personality. I think of him as, like, the smiley... the flirty. Mm-hmm. He is the best bro. He is such like he would be like the guy who's like friends with a lot of girls and like genuinely friends with them.
Yes, agree. I recently got a Cassian sticker for my Kindle.
Did you?
I did.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
Can I tell you another fun fact that I learned? Because super smart. Stickers. Mm-hmm. I was putting them like on the Kindle, like I was peeling them and sticking them on.
Oh, some people don't do that.
No, you can just not peel them and put them on the inside. But then I'm like, what's the fun in that?
But it depends on your cover. Like, mine doesn't have that clear cover. Mine is like one of those foldable ones.
Oh, yeah, I had the clear that I was like, oh, I could have just been putting them underneath the entire time. I didn't know this.
Yeah.
And then I saw someone do it. I was like, that makes sense.
And then you can, interchange them.
Yeah. But,
well, you live, you learn.
Yeah, fine. I'll get over it. Okay, Cassian. It's like a struggle for me a little bit. Do you want to go first? Or should I just...
This was also a very big struggle for me.
Because I know, like, who I pictured when I was reading it. Anyway, Henry Cavill.
Stop it.
That's who I would really want for it.
Stop.
I feel like he would be good, but that's actually not the only person I have.
Back it up.
Stop it. He would be a good one. But that's not my, like, final...
Henry Cavill.
He would make his voice, his face... The long hair.
Well, if you listen to the graphic audio, Henry Cavill's voice is in the same realm as Cassian, I feel like. Or at least, like, reminds me of it. Yeah. So, like, I understand that, but...
So when I was, like, reading it, that's, like, what the type I'm picturing. It wasn't, like, clear.
Yeah,
Very Henry Cavill type. I feel like he's just such a big thing for me. Oh, okay. So Brock O'Hearn. Literally, I think I followed him on Instagram like 5 years ago and kind of forgot about it.
I don't know if you know this, but all models can act.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a true fact.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is just... I'm trying to just get a clear photo. None of them are coming up. Anyways, here, you can just kind of scroll and see.
Oh!
So, like, I don't know his personality or anything like that, but just looks-wise, I like him.
Yeah.
He's real pretty to look at.
But, like, are you okay?
Why?
Those muscles are very large, and I don't know if you're okay.
That's how I picture him, and that's what I love. Do you know, like, my top people are, like, Jason Momoa, Henry Cavill, The Rock.
Absolutely is not even in the universe of what I find attractive.
I mean, good things, people find different people attractive. But that's totally, like, I just love that.
Look, on the ride over, I was telling Eddie about this pic because he really wants to know he really wants to know more about these books and wants to know more about my thoughts about these books. He asks and says, tell me more.
Does he?
That's sarcastic.
Yeah.
That's sarcastic. He doesn't want to know any more about the Sarah J. Maas books, but he pretends to care, which is what love is.
Yeah, that is what love is.
Which is what love is. So I did tell him about this casting and how we very much differ on what Cassian looks like in terms of like the... Is that a different person?
Yeah, he's in Ghosts, the show, which is really funny. Devin Chandler Long. He's also a redhead.
Oh, yeah. That's a more
he's an actor also, which I kind of okay, but sorry, continue.
We just have a different what do you call it? I don't know, vision in terms of like how Cassian manifests for us.
Yes, that's very true.
But we also have talked in a previous episode about how like that's fine.
Yeah. That's the joy of reading.
Right. Like your Reese is not my Reese. Your Tamlin is not my Tamlin. Your Cassian is not my That's
why reading is so great, because you don't have that. You can make it your own. And like what you want to see and what you want.
Okay.
I'm so nervous.
Okay. I had a view of an actor and it was just like a picture of it, and then I never was able to find him again.
Oh.
But he was the person that I pictured while I was reading it.
Yeah.
I found someone similar.
Okay.
I don't want to cast him though.
Okay. So do you not have a casting?
I do, but it's a newer casting for me because I couldn't even find that person. But I just want to show you the picture of the person that I am. Like the type of person that I envisioned.
Yes, okay. Now I have a Henry Cavill song in my head. Okay. Like, not my Cassian, but okay.
Yes.
I was picturing it was going to be like just completely down and different.
Yeah, so it's an actor named Enrique
Iglesias.
No, not Iglesias. Get out of here. And another person I thought was A$AP Rocky. That was another person I imagine will read his books, which is like so... he is not like a buff guy, but I also like, again, I don't envision a buff guy. So
like cute man, attractive man.
Okay, so my most recent casting that I am happy with is Bad Bunny.
What? What?
Yes.
Oh, now I just need to look at him. No, I don't know. Actually, I don't hate that.
Okay.
I mean, his first picture. I mean, I kind of knew what Bad Bunny looked like, but I was thinking of more of like the goof when he's in like different kind of stuff. But then the picture comes up where he's just like, okay, I don't hate that.
And he's funny.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but I'm also like, no, that's not Cassian.
But that's what I need. Like, my Cassian needs to have like a really good smile and be a bit goofy.
Yeah, that's what my Cassian is too. And you just want to crawl over his body.
Okay.
His big buff body.
Okay.
Like he's like 6'5".
No.
It's just gonna hold you like a little baby. Watch me get married to like the complete opposite.
Yeah, I'm rolling my eyes really hard right now.
My husband's gonna be 5'5".
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's do Amren.
Okay. When I was reading the books, I pictured her not as this exact actress, but this is kind of how I pictured her, but I would go back and forth. It was Adeline Rudolph. Not exactly her, but kind of looks like her. But then as I started reading more, it kind of switched to Zoe Kravitz.
Oh, no, that's a really good pick.
Yeah.
She is a casting that I have in a different Sarah J. Maas book.
She's good because I feel like she doesn't age, number one.
Yeah.
She can fit like a lot, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, I like her best for it.
Okay, well, I'm sad that I didn't think of that.
Oh, that makes me happy that you're saying that.
Yeah.
Right? I think she would be really good at it. Like, she could pull off that Amren.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like a cute little thing.
Yes, and that was like one of my criteria. She has to be petite.
Yeah.
Because she's smaller than Feyre, but she is also
the most terrifying.
She is the oldest and has to command attention and be a little bit scary.
Yeah. And I also feel like Zoe Kravitz kind of has that like oldness about her, like personality almost.
Yeah.
She has a really hot stepdad.
Well, that's important.
This is really important.
Yeah. I might have picked her if I came across that in my searches. The person that I pictured while I was reading initially was Zoe Saldana.
Ooh, yeah.
but she is not petite. So that was always like
she's very like tall and
yeah. So she
weirdly, I was
totally
also
fit.
looking at Zoe Saldana's husband as Cassian, and then I decided not to.
That would be in the realm of your Cassian options.
But I love her. But I could get why you would kind of picture her.
Like the personality and ability. That was my initial like who I viewed while reading, but my casting is Rachel Zegler. Do you know who that is?
Yes.
So she was in West Side Story. She was in the most recent Hunger Games. And I wasn't sure about her, but then I went back and listened to her voice too. So like in the graphic audio, Amren's voice is like a deep voice. Mm-hmm. And so I listened back to, she had like a video and I listened.
All the Hunger Games. So.
Okay. So I listened to her. Well, she's just in like the most recent.
Yes, I watched that one. And then I was like, you know what I want to watch?
Okay.
Hunger Games.
But I listened to her talk, and she has a deep voice.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't sure about her, and then I heard her talk again, and I was like, oh, yeah, you could do that.
Yeah. I do like her as an actress. I kind of almost would like her for Nesta.
Is she? Yeah, maybe.
Like, that would be closer to how I would picture Nesta than Sandra Bullock and Alana Glazer.
Sandra Bullock is only 60, Jamie. She's only 60 years old young.
Mm-hmm. Looks great.
She's practically 20.
Okay, I do like that. I like mine better.
Who is your bone carver?
Regé.
Regé Jean Paul.
Yeah, that's my bone carver.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, your MVP.
Cassian.
Why?
Just for his sense of humor.
Because you think he's hot?
And because in my mind, he's so hot. No, I think I just really liked how when Farrah got there, he made it comfortable. Like, it could have been really, like, awkward and serious. But I just love his personality. I just think he made it. And, like, when he spit out the wine, I don't know. You know, I just kind of like that, like, Lucian in the beginning. I'm just like, I just like you. And I feel like it's been a lot of dark chapters.
We're all really sad.
Yeah. Right? It has just been so dark, and just he infused that humor into everything. But then I think at that one moment, like across the table, he also like connected with her.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And call me.
Yeah. Please.
Okay. My MVP is Rhysand's mom.
Oh, that's such a good one.
I know. I knew you were going to be really sad after
I should have gone second because mine was funny.
Yeah. Rhysand's mom, you know, we have some disagreements about how the Illyrian way, but she took care of her boy, protected him against his dad, and then took in Cassian, treated him like her own, and, you know, took care of the boys, and
made sure Rhys had so much to grow into a good person,
and still tried to advocate for the women.
Yeah.
The Illyrian women.
Well, my choice sucks now.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah, she wins. Damn it.
Okay, I do have an ultimate loser, too.
Ooh.
Azriel's brothers.
Ooh, yeah. Great
Azriel's
choice.
brothers, who tortured him.
But for fun. I just want to try this and see what happens.
I don't know what else to say, but fuck them.
Yeah, agreed.
Glad you're dead.
I'm going to just second
bye. Just kidding. Oh.
Yeah, I second that. I support that.
Well, Feyre has now committed to work with the Inner Circle at the Court of Dreams. So, what's going to happen? She has separated herself from Tam and the Spring Court. So, where is she going to go from here as she tries to make her place within
She's gone
the Inner Circle?
Yeah, the lightness of the flowers, and it's exciting.
An adventure awaits.
What's going to happen next? What's going to happen next?
Wow, is that?
I also, even though it's at the very end, I still want to point this out, that we never mentioned, and I meant to mention, just because Farrah had brought it up so many times, how Asriel kept looking at more. It was brought up a lot.
I didn't even notice that.
What?
No, I know that theme.
Yeah.
In the book, but reading back and like trying to find the places that I thought it was important, I didn't note that.
Okay.
Maybe I just feel like less for that plot line.
I mean, that's fair. That's very fair. I just noticed it was brought up a lot, and then I had like further thoughts around that. Yeah.
Oh, it'll come up again.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. That's all.
Sayonara.
See you later.